And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the PondCast. The PondCast episode 18-9, your weekly dose of all things StarCraft. I'm, of course, host at VIP, with you and joined by the amazing people in the chat, and, of course, by Kuro, handling the production side of things as well. Welcome, one and all, to our weekly StarCraft II wrap-up show, covering all things StarCraft and also all things StarCraft adjacent. Once again, we do have quite a number of topics here this week. We do have quite a lot to get through, and let's jump on into our first bit of news here of the week. First, we do have the SCHistorian once again. It's so gracious at gracing us with another interview. Once again, from the Home Story Cup, the most recent Home Story Cup from the start of the year. We should be expecting many more. I believe we've only just barely touched the surface, but we should be expecting many more interviews from Home Story Cup. This one was with someone that I was not expecting. GamerRichy. Let's go. Right, let's go. GamerRichy, who was a streamer, who was a pro gamer, and nowadays has taken a bit of a step back from gaming, from competing, and has taken a step into, taken a greater role, I should say, in the Ladder Legends, in coaching actually instead. So it was really interesting to hear from him. A couple of things very quickly here is that GamerRichy, as someone who's, as myself, as someone who's like engrossed in StarCraft and watches a lot of StarCraft and caught up with a bunch of tournaments as well. I did kind of miss out on the era of GamerRichy streaming, and I really only recognized him from online tournament results, brackets, more than anything. So haven't really heard him before or seen him before. I knew very little about him outside of just how he competed. So to see him speaking here on coaching, on his introduction to StarCraft, and kind of a little bit more about GamerRichy as a person, it was really interesting. It was really interesting to hear, just because he's, I would say, one of the more lesser known or not as public figures out there as some of the others. So it was really cool to hear. Definitely a very wholesome interview discussing kind of like the thought process behind getting into coaching and helping people improve, and getting into and kind of founding Ladder Legends, as well, as that is, of course, what GamerRichy is behind. Ladder Legends, of course, I'm sure you've heard of them. They've had a pretty aggressive kind of like promotional campaign. We've been seeing them all over the place, promoting themselves, promoting tournaments, running their own events, of course, sponsoring events, and even sponsoring the SCHistorian. So Ladder Legends, they've been everywhere, and it was really cool to get a bit of a peek behind, just what Ladder Legends is, and hearing from one of the founders themselves. And yeah, definitely very wholesome, very passionate, and it was definitely an interesting listen to as well, when it comes to hearing from his perspective and his experiences coaching. Before he was on Ladder Legends, of course, he was on Berserker Esports. He even had a couple of interesting stories about Berserker Esports when they were competing in WTL, and how he would provide some insight or some advice to their pro players when it came to competing and when it came to their opponents. So yeah, a really cool kind of story, really cool interview, and a big shout out to the SCHistorian for bringing this all to light, and for giving GamerRichy a chance to kind of be in the public limelight in such a way once again. And yeah, it was really cool. Apparently, this was GamerRichy's first Home Story Cup. It was his first Home Story Cup. He had been to LANs before, such as EPIC.LANs, of course, and Gfinities and other big events. So not his first LAN, but his first Home Story Cup at least. And yeah, I hope he enjoyed himself. I hope everyone did, of course. We're going to be hearing more from those at Home Story Cup, and I do definitely recommend the interview itself. Like, I do definitely recommend it. I was definitely on the fence, or not as interested in Ladder Legends leading into this, but like after hearing like his story, and after hearing from GamerRichy himself, definitely has piqued my interest when it comes to what they provide and what they bring to the table, and kind of their overall kind of initiative, or their overall kind of goals, I should say. And yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Appreciate it. Shout out to the SCHistorian. Shout outs. When it comes to the interview itself, I do recommend checking it out yourselves. Like, it isn't too long, like half an hour, less than half an hour, really. And it goes more in depth as to Ladder Legends himself, his own experiences, his own IRL career and profession, and how that influences his own coaching, how he approaches coaching, and his own coaching perspective as well. Very insightful. Very insightful. Do appreciate it. Do give it a listen. do give it a listen. Speaking of interviews, we did have another interview occurring this week. This was not in English though. This was in Portuguese. We did have a gamer profile podcast featuring Sefirofe, who of course was a more notable figure in the StarCraft II Brazilian scene as a caster, as a tournament organizer, as an admin. Sefirofe, of course, nowadays a little bit less engrossed and less ingrained in StarCraft, but of course that's still where his roots were, and I'm sure he is willing to dip in whenever he can. I even see Vicintin actually was in the chat at the time. Oh my god. Another SC2 caster from back in the day. Unfortunately, again, it is in Portuguese, so if you don't speak the language, eventually it'll be on YouTube. Right now, it's just on Twitch. We might get like some English subtitles a little bit later on to get a better idea as to what the interview consisted of.
If somebody in the chat speaks Portuguese, we would appreciate translations in Discord. Just, maybe some points, maybe some summary.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it for sure. I'm sure it was an interesting interview. This one was a little longer, of course. It was an entire podcast. So I'm sure they had a lot of topics to kind of delve into, to almost 3 hours, I should say. So very in-depth when it comes to the interview, when it comes to the podcast itself. But really great to hear from Sefirofe. Great to hear. Much love. Fala galera, papi. Fala galera.
I will say he's a little fun fact. I got to meet Sefirofe once personally. Great guy, but also something that I've seen. The spark in his eye when he gets to talk about StarCraft, like about games, like he loves analyzing games. And you can tell that he loves doing that. So just a fun fact, which is a very good quality as a caster, obviously. But like, even and nowadays when he doesn't really have the time to actually commit to casting, like he still enjoys actually like watching the games and stuff. So he's still there, just not as active, publicly.
Exactly, for sure. And then hopefully maybe that changes in the near future. Maybe, again, said podcast had a little bit of a story as to what he's up to and what his plans on occurring in the future. Likewise, when it comes to the Brazilian StarCraft II scene, they've had a bit of a resurgence as of late, especially with the Brazilian circuit last year. Whether we have another one in the near future, still hard to say. But regardless, great to hear from Sefirofe. So do consider checking out the podcast itself over on Twitch, over on the channel of Humildes TV. There we go. Up next, we did have our monthly contributions here to Liquipedia for the month of March of 2026. We had Cynical first place. We had followed by HAP Alpha. We had Ethan Chung, Bukun, and 16 Squad Senseki Kuro handling the production, of course. And then we had the rest of our top 20, where I did make it into the top 19. And again, that's just purely off of editing our own tournaments and our own broadcasts. That's there's nothing. It's just literally the bare minimum. Still make it into the top 20. Let's go. For those who are curious, Liquipedia is of course publicly available to be edited, so you can, if you're watching a tournament and if there are updates happening, and if there's no one updating the Liquipedia page, which does often happen, especially in the American time zone, then hey, you yourself can step in and start to edit, start to add results, start to add tournament results, maybe who's casting the event, any other details that maybe aren't a part of the channel, or even fixing some details that maybe are incorrect or outdated. Then do consider stepping up, do consider stepping in and taking the role of updating all those news on Liquipedia, as again, it is all available to you, and you can step up and take that role yourself.
Just as a reminder, updating Wikipedia doesn't just entail updating the latest scores and the latest happenings. There are plenty different things to do. There are transfers between teams that are often updated. There are like just biography pages that either need like something written, or they just need like proofreading. They just need to be rewritten, like rephrased for whatever reason. So like it isn't only strictly results. Like there are multiple things to do around the entire wiki. So if you are looking to contribute in that way, then check the Discord and ask if there is something to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's all there, so do consider supporting, do consider taking part in editing Liquipedia. Up next, we did have our TLMC 22 map judging stream. For those who are curious, the Team Liquid Map Contest number 22 is currently ongoing. Submission phase did conclude, and currently we're in the process of of going through all the maps, and of course judging, giving feedback ourselves. Not just ourselves, but of course all the other judges as well. I'm one of many, of course, and we did have a judging stream earlier this this week, a couple of days ago. On that stream, we did cover all of the quote-unquote standard and rush maps. Basically, all the maps submitted are categorized into different categories: standard, rush, macro, and dynamic. And we did cover half of them this week, a couple of days ago, and we should be doing once again another stream tomorrow to cover the rest of the TLMC maps. Doing my best to kind of give my give my perspective as to things that I look for, what I critique, what I rate highly, what I don't, and kind of how we approach, or how I at least have been approaching covering some of these maps. It's also been great to see some of the other map makers join the chat as well and join the stream and be a part of it. Obviously, it can be a little bit awkward or difficult because said map makers, they have their own submissions, they have their own biases, and they have to be careful themselves as they are unable to influence how people kind of perceive or how they judge their maps, of course. So, you know, they're definitely limited in what they can say there. But regardless, it's always great to see the map makers kind of get involved in their own way and tune in and be able to hear from said perspective as well. So yeah, I do recommend checking it out. It was a very long stream, very lengthy stream, 5.5 hours, a lot of maps to go through. I will definitely say that initially we were a little bit more in detail, a little bit more in depth as to what we were looking at. But as the stream progressed and as hours went by, definitely did speed things through a little bit further towards the end. So I do apologize for that. I'll try to do a better job when it comes to the upcoming stream tomorrow. Try to do a better job. But again, do consider checking it out if you're interested in the map making side of things over on our channel or on YouTube. Meanwhile, up next, we did have OSC Esports. Of course, they do run the OSC Championship. They are basically collaborating amongst other online tournaments to bring together the OSC Championship itself. And when it comes to OSC events, they often do feature extended map pools, and they are voted on by the players, and by casters as well. I submitted my voting, and in the end, we have our 3 maps to add to the map pool. We have Beckett Industries, Submarine, and Tokamak. Relatively recent maps is what I will say. Beckett Industries a little bit older, from like what, 4 or 5 years ago. Submarine also, these were 2 rush maps, back-to-back seasons if you remember. Submarine and Beckett Industries. So interesting to see them both added to the map pool, both known for hyper-aggressive builds and hyper-aggressive play. And then we had Tokamak, one of the more standard maps in the map pool from also a couple of years ago. So those 3 maps were voted on and were added. Let's go. Let's go. Up next, we did have a big piece of news regarding GSL CK. Finally, has been publicly announced as of a couple of days ago that the GSL is going to be returning. We already did reports on the fact that GSL, the main season, was going to be returning. That was going to be later on this month, actually. If you recall, we spoke about this because it was revealed during RSL by Tasteless. Tasteless did announce that GSL as a league was returning. So again, we did mention that last time. Here, now we have confirmation that the GSL CK is also returning as a monthly. Depending on support on Patreon, it will be returning potentially even multiple times a month. When it comes to greater details, the post is available on all socials. So for those that maybe weren't here or weren't aware, GSL CK is a GSL Champions Korea. This is an invitational team league format. I say team league format, team format, where the player base in Korea is split into 2. They do kind of draft their own teams. They 2 captains are chosen, teams are drafted, and then they are pitted against each other in a pro league format and all kill format, show match, I should say, in a big like team game show match. With 2v2s involved and of the like, and honestly, it's been a lot of fun. If you missed it, the VODs are available on YouTube for both the 1st and 2nd edition. The 3rd edition has been confirmed to be on the 14th of April, so that is going to be next week. And of course, we're going to be casting, Trigger's going to be casting in English as well, Rex will be casting in Taiwanese, and Renan will be casting in Korean. So we do have our respective other language streams, just like we have been in the past.
There's also a second Korean stream, which is Into the TV, which I believe is Ino.
Yeah, that is Inu. So Inu, he's also going to be streaming as well. But again, more details are available on the post itself, so do check out the initial post. As I mentioned before, will be happening once a month, and if additional milestones are reached on Patreon, then we'll be running on a more consistent basis twice a month instead. So again, do recommend it. Once again, as we mentioned, the main season is also going to be returning, so do not fret. Do not think that GSL is only coming back in this GSL CK format. No, that is not true. It's coming back in the more league format as well, as we did mention last week. So it is coming back in that league format as always. Up next, we did have EPIC.LAN. EPIC.LAN was announced to be returning. The next edition will be in July 16th to 19th of 2026. So EPIC.LAN is right around the corner. Again, EPIC.LAN has been a very regular event over in the UK region. Every couple of months. Every couple of months, we do have another EPIC.LAN. So hey, GamerRichy, we just mentioned him, most likely going to be there. Eba's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. Likewise, when it comes to EPIC.LANs, we have been seeing other players travel. Players like Geralt, players like Mixu. We have been seeing players from all around Europe make the trek over and start competing in EPIC.LAN. So I'm sure we'll be seeing some more, potentially even some more Europeans from outside of the UK also travel and compete. If you happen to be local, if you're looking for a local LAN, a local place where other like-minded individuals that enjoy StarCraft are gathering, then of course do consider going to EPIC.LAN. Do consider it. Do check it out. Again, we'll be in July. Up next, we do have our tournament results. Up first, we do have the RSL. RSL Season 4 did conclude this week. It was an intense season, and we did wrap up our playoffs. It only lasted a couple of weeks. It only lasted a couple of days. When it comes to the final week of RSL, it was 3 days of StarCraft and very short games. In general, that was our biggest, I say, criticism. It's no one's real fault, but unfortunately, the playoffs themselves were very short. Not even just the amount of matches per day, but the series themselves were really fast series. A lot of cheese, a lot of aggression. Macro games were very rare. Very, very rare here. I remember one macro game between Cure versus Beyond in the upper bracket quarterfinals. I remember like one macro game between like Trigger and Rogue. Like, again, there was just a lot of all-ins, a lot of cheese, a lot of hyper aggression. It led to really short broadcasting days and just really short series and just a really short broadcast in general. In the end, of course, congratulations to Max. Max, he took down Maru 4-2 and he took down Rogue 4-0 in the grand finals. A really surprising top two, by the way. Like, Max, he was one of the big heavy hitters to go far in the event, 100%. But Rogue, many people, myself included, the other casters included, did assume that he would be knocked down much earlier. So he had a really, really strong run, taking down Björn, Cure, and Maru. Pure cheese. Pure cheese, pure all-ins. All in the hell out of everyone to make it all the way to the finals. And then Rogue attempted to all-in Max and never quite worked. Like, Max, he was a brick wall. He did his best Showtime impression, and he was able to take down Rogue 4-0 in a very swift, very concise grand finals. Was a little bit unfortunate, was very one-sided. The previous matches were a little bit more back and forth regarding to Maru versus Max or Maru versus Rogue, or I would even say Rogue versus Beyond was like one of the most exciting series of the final 3 days. Getting that TVZ, getting that back and forth. It was still hyper aggressive though. It was Beyond and Rogue taking turns being aggressive themselves. And in the end, congratulations to Max. Congratulations, jumping maps to Maru, but no one else in the playoffs. GG well played. Very impressive run here by Max to become our RSL champion for the first time. Still non-stop only Protoss champions for RSL. That trend does still continue, but congratulations to Max. And shout out to Rogue for making it all the way to the finals. An unexpected run. GG well played. When it comes to the next season of RSL, as RSL Season 4 wrapped up, RSL Season 5 was announced. It was already announced here. You can see the actually finalized days for the event were already publicly released, starting in May. Starting in May here, May the 2nd and 3rd, and every weekend thereafter. I believe they did plan on shifting up their playoffs days a little bit more as well. It was like 3 days of playoffs, and they did want to change it a little bit, so I think they changed it to 2 days. They were quite public on Reddit talking about how like they've taken feedback and they're going to try to adjust things and make things a little bit better. As this season, there was 1 day where there was only 1 series, which was less than ideal. It was was less than ideal. But again, qualifiers have also been announced. Qualifiers are going to be taking place on April 20th, 22nd, and 24th. We'll do our best to cast them, and of course, the players will be, the qualifiers are going to be occurring one after the other at the end of the month. Best of luck. Qualifiers are available for those that want to compete. Up next, we did have the WardiTV Team League Season 10. The group stage, I believe, finally concluded. There we go. Finally does wrap up. It took a while. We got there in the end. When it comes to the group stage, Group A, what matches did wrap up here? Let me just quickly double check. Okay, so we had two series at the very end. We had the Exertus matches. Finally, the Exertus matches did actually conclude, and they played their games out. We had Team Liquid versus Exertus, 6-0 in favor of Team Liquid. We had Cure over Universe, Skilless over Cham, Cure and Skilless over Cham and Eggs, Cure over Eggs, Mana over Universe, and Mana and Skilless over Eggs and Universe as well. Also a strong showing there by Team Liquid. Meanwhile, we had CJNTS also take down Exertus. We'd had a Bunny over Eggs, Hero over Universe, Bunny and Hero over Eggs and Universe. We had Bunny losing to Cham, so Cham did take a game. Shin over Universe, and Hero and Shin over Cham and Eggs. So 5-1 over Exertus. I could be mistaken, but I want to quickly double check something here. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed something, but look, he's notorious for missing out on games and skipping out on tournaments. At least that was the case in the past. Do you notice something about those last two series? There was no special. Special is a part of Exertus for this tournament. Did he play at all? Did he? So he didn't play in the last two series. He didn't play in the series versus Basilisk. He didn't play in the series versus Platinum Heroes. No shot. And then we had the forfeits earlier. Yeah, so that might be a reason as to why there were some forfeits and why there was some scheduling issues. Special, he's not the most reliable of players and has a history of forfeiting in the past. So it looks like he didn't play at all. Yeah, God damn it. Yeah. So again, a shout out to the players that did compete for Exertus and Juanito. SMH my head. But with that, Group A does conclude, and we do have our top three teams. It was Basilisk in first place, Noace Jinair in second, and Team Liquid in third. Ooh, not CJNTS, barely not making it out. Had the same score line, but different map score. Yeah, different map score in the end. Barely didn't clutch it out. Likewise, Stalinables was also another big competitor, but also does not make it through. Yeah, it doesn't quite make it through there. Meanwhile, heading over to Group B, we did have the rest of our group wrapping up. I think for the most part, we were just waiting for some specific series to wrap up, actually. Just quickly trying to double check here.
I believe it was mostly we were waiting for the Polish Power.
We were waiting for the, as we were mentioning, we were waiting for the Spirits matches specifically. So it was Spirits matches that were missing. So it looks like they did finally wrap up. It's hard to specify which games were played as the dates don't specify that. But Renan took down Spirit in the old War Machine series. Okay. But in the end, we did have a finalized score lines, and Polish Power did not make it through. In the end, we had Villains of StarCraft in first place, the Three Musketeers in second, Shopify Rebellion in third, making it through. Meanwhile, Onside barely doesn't. Onside does not make it through into the playoffs. Likewise, neither does Polish Power, neither does Bunkers, and neither does Old War Machines. So GG well played. With that, we have our top 6 teams. We have our top 6 teams here for our final event. For the playoffs, we have Basilisk versus the Three Musketeers. We have Villains of SC2 versus Noace Jinair. And we have Team Liquid and Shopify waiting in the lower bracket quarterfinals. So we have our top 6 teams. Best of luck to all the teams involved. I'm sure it's going to be amazing matches. Best of luck. And that'll be taking place in a couple of days' time. Tomorrow, actually. There you go. Will be taking place tomorrow. Best of luck with those best of 9s. Up next, we have the uThermal 2 circuits. The April edition did take place not too long ago. Again, when it comes to these main editions, double elimination, 2v2. Again, 2v2 is a format that has been taken more seriously as of recent months, and as of the last 2 years, I should say, with non-stop better and better competitors. Like, we've had a lot of representation from the European scene, but now even more representation from the Korean scene as well. Björn and Solar, they did show up, they did team up. We had Creator and Maru as well. Not Maru and Hero this time, interesting, but they did go far. Again, a couple of other Korean teams, Cure and Rogue signed up together, Honmono and 3 Point. We had Clem and uThermal. We had Hero and Shin this time, Classic and Big Gabe, Bunny and SOS, and many, many other teams. When it comes to our top competitors, Björn and Sola, they went far. They took down Kieran Rogue. They took down Seamus and Young Yakov. Seamus and Young Yakov, one of the stronger teams out there, took down Clem and uThermal earlier. True, bear that in mind. But who did pop off here was Classic and Big Gabe. Now, one of the reasons why they actually teamed up together is because they're on the same team in the WardiTV Team League. So because of that, they wanted to practice. They wanted to get more practice together to compete. They also ideally wanted to get enough points to make it through into the main circuit at the end of the season, and they popped off. They went far. They took down Def Mars and Zardian. They took down Creator and Maru. Big win. They took down Björn and Solar 2-0, not dropping a single map, making it all the way to the grand finals where they waited for their opponents. Björn and Solar, they did make it back. They did make it through. They took down Creator and Maru in the lower bracket finals, but Classic and Big Gabe did claim the win 2-1. GG, well played. They did compete together for the first time here in this tournament, but they had some experience in the WardiTV Team League together, and they proved to be a really strong pairing, really strong duo. GG. GG, well played. Fun fact, they weren't even using comms. They were communicating with each other purely via text, as Classic's English isn't amazing and Gabe's Korean is almost non-existent.
Okay. I will defend Classic. His English is okay. I don't know if it's fluent, but he does speak. Okay.
Yeah. Again, I can confirm he was saying yes, no, saying push, GG.
What I'm saying, it's probably better than Heroes.
Yeah. I would imagine. They were communicating with each other like with vibes more than anything, and they understood each other quite well. They were synced up in their own way, and they actually worked together amazingly well. Actually, I do recommend checking out Big Gabe's stream. He did have his POV, of course, from his perspective, and you can see his tournament run all the way to the finals and all the way to the championship. So GG, well played. You do check that out. Shout out to of course, uThermal for running the event, hosting the event, and of course, when it comes to the 2v2 circuit, we only have a couple of months left. Only a couple of months remaining. So do make sure that, hey, if you're out there, if you want to compete, now is the time. There's going to be a couple of bonus cups as well this month, leading into the May event. So do check it out as the season is coming to a close.
Very important news about the May event. There is a certain goal for the main event. If there are at least 50 check-ins, and by 50 that means 50 teams checked in for the May event, the prize pool, both in points and in prize money, will be doubled. Just saying.
Yeah. I think this is a good initiative just because initially there were a lot more amateur teams involved, a lot more like viewers or fans of StarCraft. That was the case early on, but nowadays I will say that a lot of them were filtered out, right? A lot of them were filtered out, and nowadays like it's mainly like almost a full bracket of like full pro players or full like GMs at least. So like we've definitely seen a fall off of like more like amateur players or people that just want to get involved. It has become a lot more intimidating. Like as the months have progressed, like it has gotten more competitive for sure. But it's an open sign up, right? Like you can have fun yourself, you can sign up with your friends, and you can take part in the event. So do consider signing up, being a part of this, and competing amongst all the others.
I would say there are some examples of players who aren't like considered the top of the top like in the pro scene, but are doing really well in 2v2, and the two teams that come to mind is Def Mars and Zardian and Minizerg and Sickness. Like they are like semi-pros, you see them in tournaments every now and then, but they generally don't win them, but they do really good in 2v2 together.
Yeah. I think we mentioned another pairing before, which is another better example, is Seamus and Young Yakov, where they're both good players, but they've taken down, they beat Clem and uThermal, right? Like they're able to punch up and take down some otherwise bigger notable players with their 2v2 prowess, as of course it requires a different kind of skill set, different kind of game mode, different kind of meta, of course, as well. And they have been able to excel. So hey, if you're out there, if you happen to have a partner, a teammate for some 2v2s, do consider playing, because who knows what you could accomplish. so do check it out. Otherwise, up next we do have more tournament results. Of course, we do have the GRC Global Doubles #1. Interesting, the Golden Retriever Cup. This is the Iceland event. Yes. So this was organized by Iceland. He is a Warcraft 3 Chinese player, or at least I think he was an ex-pro player in Warcraft 3. I don't know if he currently is competing, but regardless, he did step into the ring with SC Evo a little bit a couple of months ago, and now he does run his own tournament, a big 2v2 event. We did have a good amount of signups here. We had some familiar 2v2 players. We had Homo on 3-point. There's Björn and Solar once again. There's Def Mars and Zardian, Bratok and Mindo VK, Ateshi and Prome. In the end, we saw that Björn and Solar, they were able to make it all the way through here. They took down Honmono in 3.30, took down Def Mars and Zardian 3-2, went all the way to the ace match, an impressive back and forth. In the end, Björn and Solar do claim the win. GG. GG, well played. We might consider checking out those replays and covering that in English, but again, we currently have a bit of a backlog when it comes to events, so we'll get around to it eventually. Up next, we did have our 5.4K patch clash, number 14. Once again, shout out to Patches. Patches has been creating and working on his own balance mod, which is featured in his tournaments. Maybe not the most balanced of mods, but some crazy changes, some crazy kind of perspectives or some crazy ideas when it comes to adding to the game, adding a bunch of upgrades, changing a bunch of things as well. It's a very ambitious project and a very ambitious patch and a very ambitious balance mod, and it leads into some crazy events like this. Here we go. We have some notables. We have Hackers Top Green Earth, Shameless off racing as Terran. We had Faye. We had Calix. We had Calix and Calix and Calix. Okay, Calix. They did actually manage to win the entire event. Okay, very impressive. Taking down Faye 2-1, taking down Hackers Top 2-1, and taking down Hackers Top 3-2 in the grand finals. Very impressive for a more amateur player to make it through and to take down some of the more notables. Very impressive. GG, well played. Does claim the win 3-2 over Hackers Top. GG, well played. That leads us into our amateur events for the week. That leads us into the Amateur League Weeklies. Again, this is a regular weekly event here for amateur players. It is split between different leagues, different MMR ranges. And up first, we have the Initiate Amateur League Weekly for those that are between the leagues of Bronze and Diamond. This week we had two players. We had Jackals and Saito. Jackals took down Saito 3-2 to advance on and to be our champion this week. Up next we had the Veteran Edition for Diamond 3 and Diamond 2. We had 10 competitors here. We had a lot more regulars. We had Choi Galaxy, Smite Steel, Balimko as well, Old Lady, Revio. In the end, Smite Steel did make it to the finals. Did make it to the bracket finals. Troy Galaxy takes down Smite Steel 2-1, and then Cyril takes down Troy Galaxy 3-0, coming in from the lower brackets. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Cyril. That leads us into the Prestige Edition, Diamond 1 to Masters 2. Here we had a little bit lesser when it comes to representation here. We had some regulars, Milka, Matrix, Boreal, Beast, Ophthalmologist, Defiance, and many others. In the end, Matrix or Matrix did take down Beast 2-0, Milka 2-0, and Milka 3-2 in the grand finals. Very impressive play out of Matrix. Very impressive. GG will play. The Polish Protoss player does claim the win and is going to be the Prestige champion for the week. Up next, we had the Elite Edition, and here we had Nickrat once again, this time against Mil. I think last week it was Nickrat versus Hatsu, but Nickrat takes down Mil 3-0 to once again be our champion for this week's Elite tournament. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to all of our challengers, to all of our competitors, to all of our champions here, as again this is a weekly event. No prize pool is involved, but it does lead into seasonal finals, which does have a prize pool, and I believe the season just now began, so now's the time to step into the ring. So do check it out. Do consider competing. Do consider taking part. Up next, we have the Little Mac StarCraft II League Season 14. I believe this is the Amateur Edition. Yep, this is the Amateur Edition for those that are below 4.5k MMR. The group stage did conclude. The playoffs also concluded as well. Okay, when it comes to the playoffs here, Havertz, if you recall, I was favoring... I think it was favoring like Beast, Dizzy Dwarf, or like Chocolates. But no, we had Havertz taking down Dizzy Dwarf 3-2. Beast took down Mac. Beast took down Havertz. Went all the way to the finals, where he did fall to Kaiboy. Kaiboy took down Neo, Chocolates, and Beast 4-3 in the finals. Very impressive play here by Kaiboy. GG. GG, well played. Impressive performance here. Went all the way to the ace match. Kaiboy, a player that I'm not as familiar with when it comes to the amateur scene, but a nice result nonetheless. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Leads us into the Little Mac Master League Season 11. This is a little bit less restricted. This is for those that are 5.4k and below. This is low GM. Group stage to conclude. The quarterfinals of the playoffs also concluding as well. Angry took down Ryojin 3-2. Azura took down Akeron 3-1. Inexorable took down Magna 3-1, and Anticore took down Kamikaze 3-2. If you recall, I was leaning towards an Azura versus Anticore finals, and we'll see if that comes to pass. Those are the two players that are definitely on my radar. Best of luck. Best of luck to Angry. Best of luck to Inexorable. At least we have one of each, at least in the top 4. Best of luck to all the competitors. As, again, throughout the course of next week or so, we should be wrapping up the semis into the grand finals. GG. GG will play. That leads us into the Ladder Legends Academy Amateur Showdown number 3. I believe there was also an MMR restriction for this event as well. Yeah, 4.5k MMR and below. So once again, this is around M2. And Masters 2, once again, plenty of regulars here. We have Set, Defiance, Roselia. We had Milka, we had Himars, and Darkblade. A couple that I'm less familiar with, like Voltark. Don't really know Voltark or Bruntmist. But in the end, Set. So, Esther. Set takes down Defiance 2-0. Takes down Roselia 3-2 in the grand finals. And is going to be this month's Ladder Legends Academy Amateur Showdown Champion. GG. GG will play. Congratulations to Set for claiming the win here. Congratulations, and we'll see if Set is able to replicate the success when it comes to our other amateur events. Up next, that leads us into the StarCraft II Community Team League 2026 Spring regular seasons. Jesus. The Chinese Team League is upon us. We already went through the qualifiers previously, but now the main season has begun, and it's one just big group stage. Okay. Usually we used to seeing this like split up into 2 groups, but no, it's just one massive group, a massive round as well. Oh boy, PCEC, they take down his stuff 6-0. Strong showing there by PCEC in the first round. We then have Total Project. They take down Rookie Warpgate 4-3. With that, oh, Moko. Moko's back. Let's go. Good to see him. Great guy, great player. We then had Super Kitty. Super Kitty take down Starlight Twinkle 4-3. A big win here for Super Kitty. Hold on, who is this? Who is competing here? Caster. Okay. Translates. Oh, Yajue. God, we've seen it before. Yajue does tie the series between Rewhites. We had Silky tied 1-1 against Yang Zest. Jolo tied 1-1 with his opponents, and then in the end, we actually had Silky taking on Young Zest in the ace match. Very impressive. GG well played. Super Kitty, they do claim the series, just barely over, I would say, one of the favorites in the league. Then had Team Little Fairy, they take down Kauda 4-3. We had Super Puppy, god damn it, forgot about them. Super Puppy took down Leor 6-0. We had Elpis taking down Astartes 5-1. Protos the Best takes down Fairy Thug, not Little Fairy. They take down Fairy Thug 5-1, and Old Man take down Elpis 3 5-1 as well. Again, Team Old Man, they're a pretty strong team. They might be old, but they're young at heart. They consist of Kofi, Jeshi, Kingslayer, and I believe Cyan as well. Like, they have a really hefty team, and might even be the strongest team in the league. Oh boy, they're going to be the ones to beat. The Old Men, they're pretty good. But best of luck. Again, it's going to be a long season. It'll last a couple of months to get through the entire round robin stage of the Team League season. Best of luck to all the teams. Best of luck to all the teams involved. That leads us into our regional events and show matches. Up first, we do have the Auction Cup. The first edition, if I'm not mistaken. Leads us into Auction Cup. It is going to be a Mengxing Exchange Group event. Interesting. Not an event that I'm too familiar with, but it is in the Chinese region, the Chinese server. When it comes to our players here, it looks like amateur players. Yeah, I see Latte, of course, but it looks like a more amateur team league where teams are drafted. Okay. Yeah. So once again, team captains were picked, teams were drafted, and they're going to be competing against each other in a bit of a show match-esque series, a bit of a four-team invitational. Okay. So we don't have any results yet. Results will be coming in towards the end of the
We do have
month,
a
so it's
group
going to be a
stage.
longer event.
We do have a group stage.
I see. We do have the group stage here. But again, it'll be lasting all month. And okay, that's how we were able to seed our teams. So teams are seeded via the group stage. Unfamiliar with the team names themselves, so I'm not going to attempt. I'm not going to try, but the group stage did conclude, and now we have our top 4 teams seeded into the playoffs. Best of luck. Best of luck. As it looks like this event leads into another event, so not confusing at all, but just because if you look at the playoffs, it says qualified instead of the finals, so like I guess it's for like a greater event. We'll see. That leads us into the StarCraft II Weekly Open Tournaments, 2026, Season 1, Number 2. From my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Sunrise Cup wasn't here. Was it here last week? Did we have a Sunrise Cup?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we didn't.
So I don't know
So
if this may be
something that
replacing Sunrise Cup, yeah.
Yeah, as we were getting into, so for those that have noticed, Sunrise Cup has been a regular weekly tournament. Every single week there's a Sunrise Cup, but as we just did point out, last week and this week there's been no Sunrise Cup. Instead, it looks like we do have a bigger weekly tournament with a greater prize pool. We mentioned earlier that Thunderfire have been interested in supporting Chinese StarCraft, and this is sponsored by Thunderfire. And it's a big prize pool as well, 500 USD. Like, this is bigger than most, if not all, of the regular weekly cups, like the regular open cups. Like this is a massive prize pool. Thunderfire, this is a really big initiative, and this is going to be incentivizing more Chinese players and more Chinese participation to compete and to improve and to strive for greater heights. So this is a huge initiative, and it's really great for the Chinese scene. Here we have all the top players. We got Jodwa Loves, Lemon, we have Nanyu, we have Millennium Fox, Nanami, Chiaki, Silky. Hey, look, Silky's actually using his name here, and so is Nanami. Like, look at that. Look at him go. We have Cyan, SCV. In the end, we did have a finals between Lemon and Cyan, and Lemon doesn't drop a single map this tournament. Oh, sorry. Did drop a map against Coffee, of all players, in the round of 32. But outside of that, Lemon did pop off, 2-0ing Cyan in the grand finals. GG, well played here to Lemon. Again, one of the stronger players in the region. I would say the strongest player in Taiwan at the moment, as of course Haas is retired and Nice also retired as well. So congratulations to Lemon as he does claim the win. And again, it's a great initiative here by Thunderfire, great events, and we should be seeing more of these in the future, and it should work wonders here for the Chinese scene. Oh boy. So GG will play. That leads us into Legacy Weekly Japan, number 497. This is a weekly open cup for the Japanese region. And once again, it is Boba time. Tapioca does claim the win 2-0 over Deadly Kitten. GG, well played. Big win here. Tapioca takes down Sayar, Crimson, Hirikui, and Deadly Kitten as well. GG, well played. Congratulations to Tapioca. Best player in Japan. Congrats. Congratulations. That leads us into Insane Master Killers at Champions 2026 Primavera. Here we go. We do have basically an in-house tournament. In-house tournaments for Insane Master Killers. They've got a massive roster, but one does stand amongst the rest. Dark Unnamed. Dark Unnamed, he is the best player here in the league. Despite that, did drop a map to Solstice. True, did drop a map. But outside of that, he is heavily favored to make it far here, and best of luck to everyone else involved. We had Ryder taking down Ire. We had Havertz taking down Nux. Did notice Havertz earlier in the amateur events. We had Quadruple Z taking down Raza. We had the Mike taking down Miwatch as well. But again, it's all about Dark Unnamed. Best of luck. Best of luck to all the players involved, as he is not an easy one to bring down. The Bolivian Zerg. That leads us into the Big Brain Bouts. Hey, speaking of, we need to contact Big Brain Bouts and let them know that, you know, Deadly Kitten is cool and all, but he's second best to Tapioca. For those that are curious, that is the same Deadly Kitten that came second in the Legacy with Japan. Deadly Kitten is a Swedish player living in Japan, so he does live in Japan. but is from Sweden. We had the Bastos one, we had Lambo versus Trigger, we had the fun one, which was Deadly Kitten versus Patches, and the good one, which is Bly versus Boanan. I remember seeing this and being really excited because Bly, of course, has been away from StarCraft for a very, very long time. So great to see Bly returning for a show match here and there. He does do so every now and then, just popping up randomly every couple of years. And now we get our yearly Bly. He's tapped out for the rest of 2026. He's but hopefully not. Hopefully we can lure him back in.
I'll be honest, I miss Bly. Like, people who will watch the tournaments nowadays have not witnessed what some Zerg players used to do in the actual tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's a fitting match between Bly and Boanan. I mean, kind of. Boanan he does nothing but cannon rush. Like, he's a little bit more one note. But it should have been called the cheesy one. Like, that was. Aye. But Deadly Kitten takes down Patches 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. Big win there for Deadly Kitten. We had Bly 3-0 over Boanan, a much more one-sided series from the side of Bly. Then we had a back and forth here between Trigger and Lambo. Lambo takes down Trigger 3-1 to claim the win over Trigger. GG, well played. Does claim the win. And again, there's a weekly show match series. Shout out to Bastos for hosting, for sponsoring. Shout out to Rotterdam for casting as well. Whew. Big shout out. That does lead us into our OSC event for the week, the OSC Elite Rising Star number 18. Again, the event itself is coming to an end, coming to a close, I should say, as we only have 1 week left of matches. GG Machine takes down Milky Cow 2-0. Shameless takes down Lilix, and we have GG Machine versus Shameless in the upper bracket finals. GG Machine takes him down 3-1. Big win. I was favoring Shameless in that series, but GG Machine pops off. GG well played. GG well played. It does pop off, does claim the series. When it comes to the lower bracket here, we had Sebestus eliminating Art. We had Sebestus eliminating Milky Cow as well. Mini Zerg eliminated Jumi. That was a big upset. Crazy win. Mini Zerg does eliminate Jumi. Rebellion's been eliminated as well, so we're running out of players. Up next will be Moja versus Mini Zerg, into Lelix, into Sebestus, into Shameless, into GG Machine. Those matches should be played out next week. Next week, we should be able to crown our champion. It's been a long time coming. Here. Up next, we have the Show Match Friday Cup number 2. Okay, not a tournament that I'm familiar with here. Organized by Mr. Mike MTL. Was organized. And here we did have some interesting lineups, actually. Okay. We had we had Reaper, F2 Click, Mini Zerg. What's important, though? Best of ones. Pure best of ones leading up to the finals here. So, I mean, it's hard to really judge, who's really favored amongst all these players in a best of one format. In the end, we had Reaper versus Jedos in the grand finals. I'm not familiar with Jedos at all. So impressive to see him take down Mini Zerg and F2 Click. Very impressive. Does advance on to the grand finals where Reaper does claim the win at 3-0 over Jedos. GG will play. That leads us into the WardiTV Monday number 81. This is our weekly open tournament. Again, we actually covered this event initially, but we weren't able to cover the entirety of the event, so we do apologize. Of course, we were unavailable to cover all of the Monday. We'll be catching up via replays. When it comes to the event itself, we had Classic, he 2-0s Ryung, he 2-0s Lambo, he 2-0s Shameless, and he 3-0s Hero. Yo, Classic, calm down. Bearing in mind, this is Classic hot off the heels off of that 2v2 win in the uThermal 2v2 circuit. So clearly that boosted his confidence and that gave him the power he needed to just blaze on through and not drop a single map here. When it comes to some notable results, Shameless, he 2-1 Solar and he 2-1 Rogue. Those are some big wins for Shameless, by the way, taking down two of the best Zerg players in Korea, two of the best Zerg players in that bracket. You don't get better than that. Like, Lambo is good, don't get me wrong, but Solar and Rogue, like, they are a bit of a tier above, and for them both to fall to Shameless, that is crazy. It's a big win there for Shameless. Likewise, Percival took a map off of Rogue as well. We had Clem taking down Bjorn 2-0 before facing off against Hero in the semifinals. Hero took Clem down 2-0, took down MaxVax 2-0 as well, took down Cure 2-0. Hero, he had his own tear of non-stop 2-0s until the finals where Classic claimed the win. GG well played. Classic, he will be our WardiTV Monday champion this week. So Classic 3-0 over Hero. Speaking of Classic and Hero, fun fact, that leads us into the Tuna Cup. Tuna Cup finals as well, number 126. This is our Open Cup, and you should recognize some of these players. We did have a more Korean-heavy and Korean-centric tournament with Björn, with a Classic, with Zaun, Ryung, and Hero, by the way. As Hero, he does take down Art 2-0, takes down Zaun 2-0, and does face off against Classic in the grand finals. Classic, he took down Strange and Björn. Classic did bleed on his way to the finals. True, he did bleed, but he took down Hero 3-2. Was a much closer back and forth this time, but Classic does claim the win 3-2. 2 wins in a row here, the WardiTV Monday and the Tuna Cup. GG. GG, well played, back-to-back wins there for Classic. That leads us into the Pegasus Cup, where there was no Classic. Smudge, papi. There was no Classic. So no PvP finals. Here instead we have Hero 2-0's Ryojin. He 3-2's Percival. Went all the way to the ace match. That is crazy, by the way. Oh my god. Impressive to see Percival standing his ground, even having a better performance compared to Clem. True. Where Hero, he takes down Clem 3-1 in the grand finals. GG, well played. Hero, he does finally claim his win this week, taking down Clem in those finals. Clem, to make it there, he took down Björn, took down Rebellion as well, but Hero did prove to be too much. GG, well played. Does claim the win. When it comes to this event, we did miss it this week. We were unavailable, but we should be able to catch up via replays at some point. We'll get there. We'll get there. As up next, we then did have our Kung Fu Cup weekly number 4. Once again, another weekly tournament, organized, funded by SC Boy. And here we had a greater mixture of players. We had our top Koreans, we had our top Europeans as well. Clem, he takes down Trigger 2-0. Ben takes down Solar 2-0. Takes down Ryung 2-1. Look at Ryung go. Again, Ryung, he arguably has the best TVT in the world. If you remember, Ryung is the reason why Clem no longer plays TVT, and Ryung 2-0'd Björn. He 2-0'd Björn in the quarterfinals. He even took a map off of Clem as well. Ryung, he's an old man, but he still got it, papi. He's an older tuna, but still checks out. He still does check out. It does take a map, does end up falling to Clem. Scrolling down, we had Hero, he 2-0's Cure, he 2-0's Shin, and he takes down Clem 3-2 in the finals. PvP finals. Ooh, Clem. I mean, Clem lost to Hero as Terran previously in Pegasus Cup, so here he switches to Protoss, and he went to the ace match. Now, to be fair, Clem did play Terran in Game 1. True, did play Terran in Game 1, but he switched to Protoss later in the series, and yeah, he actually won more games with his Protoss than he did with his Terran. Which, that's a little bit scary because that could be indicative of a full switch. Like, Clem, do we end up seeing a full switch to Protoss this year? We're one step closer. We're one step closer here, where Clem, he might start playing PvP instead of TVP, and then the only matchup he plays Terran with will be against Zerg. Like, it's possible that happens. Oh boy. Not like this. But GG will play with that. Congratulations, Hero. He does claim the win. And with that, our weekly champions are Classic, Hero. 4 Open Cups, and Classic and Hero do claim all the wins in the end. Congratulations. Shout out to Hero, by the way, for spreading the love. It was, what, last week or 2 weeks ago where Hero won everything. Now it's Hero and Classic. You know, they share the load. But GG, well played. With that, if you want to take part in some of these tournaments, if you want to get Protoss, if you want to play against the wave of Protoss that has been dominant over the past couple of years, you can do so by signing up. !sign up list in the chat to get a link to our sign up page with uThermal's TVG circuits, with SDO's amateur tournaments, Open Cups, regional events. As long as you meet the requirements of MMR and of region, you can take part yourself in a bunch of these tournaments. The sign-up list is available, is updated. Plenty of events on the horizon, plenty of events coming up. So do check it out over in the sign-up list. Likewise, you can also check us out on Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis. It does fund the Duckling Open, the Swan Open, and the Tuna Cup. All funded via Patreon, all grown via Patreon as well. Return of SDO is a bonus. Yes, SDO is also this weekend. Speaking of, as we wrap up the Patreon, or as we wrap up our shoutouts, yes, you're correct. SDO is going to be this weekend on the 11th of April. So if you're an amateur player, if you happen to be below 4.2k MMR, then you can compete in Duckling Open. We have Tuna Cup this weekend, back to Sundays. Tuna Cup has been on Tuesday for quite some time now, due to RSL, but now that RSL has concluded, we can go back to Sunday broadcasts. Meanwhile, our next broadcast here on the channel is going to be in around 12 hours. In around 13 hours time, we're going to be live with the Team Liquid Map Contest judging stream number 2. A lot of maps to go through, a lot to judge. We'll be trying to get as much rest, as much of a lead up there as much as we can, getting into TLMC to hyperfixate and focus on said broadcast and on the judging and on the feedback on our scoring as well. We'll get more into it tomorrow. But again, that's going to be our next stream. That's going to be the TLMC judging stream. Again, the weekend is going to be busy with Duckling Open and Tuna Cup as well, and many other events on the horizon. Do check it out over on our channel.
I would like to add that between Duckling Open and Sparking Tuna Cup, there will also be the uThermal bonus cup, the 2v2. So if you want to play in that, then feel free. We will be adminning that.
Yeah, as I had already mentioned, the uThermal 2v2 bonus cup is going to be in a couple of days. It is available on the sign-up list, !sign-up list. You can see the 2v2 bonus cup there if you want to take part, if you want to jump in, is available too. Just got to find a partner. And hey, if you don't have a partner, you can sign up and join uThermal's Discord server or show up in the chat and look for a partner then and there. Last minutes. It's ideally you do have a partner ahead of time, but you might find someone then and there who's also looking for someone to play with. So do check it out. Do check it out. Otherwise, with that, we're going to be wrapping up. Again, if you want to support us, you can do so via the Patreon. You can follow us on all the socials, on YouTube, likewise on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all things CranKy Ducklings. Going to be heading off, going to try to get as much rest as we can, coming into and leading into the rest of the week, leading into TLMC. Oh boy. Oh boy. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Kuro, of course, for handling the production side of things, and we'll be heading off for the night. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Team Liquid Map Contest TLMC 22 judging stream. See you then. Ciao. Bye. Ciao. See you then.